So the watchman is the person who warns the people. And you know what? There aren't many watchmen on the wall. You see, Israel, and Jerusalem especially, was a walled city. The watchman stood on the wall. He stood there all night. There's a scripture about the watchman. As the watchman waits for the dawn, so the Lord waits upon Israel. As the watchman waits for the dawn, because it's dark at night, and he's waiting for the dawn. It must be terrible as the dawn lingers, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. He's been there all night. It seems like the sun's never going to come up. As the watchman waits for the dawn, wait for the Lord. Wait for the Lord. The watchman was not only waiting for the dawn, the watchman was there with his shofar, with his trumpet, that if something was happening, that there was an enemy coming, he would blow the trumpet. He would warn the people. Now, it's up to the people to respond or not to respond. That's just the way it is. You cannot make people do things they do not want to do. I found that out a long time ago. You cannot make people love you. You cannot make people do things that they don't want to do. But you can warn them. You can tell them. You can be gentle. You can tell them what you see. You can say all those things. They might think you're hoopy. They might think you're crazy. But you know what? If these things come to pass, at least they know where to run. That's real. In our parish, you know, I've through my preaching, and it's not all good preaching. Sometimes I get a little angry, and a lot of people have left. All right, a lot of people have left. But I do want to tell you one thing: even though they've left, they know where to come when they're in trouble. Okay, even though they've left, they know where to come when they're in trouble. They're not knocking on other doors. They're knocking on this door. They're not calling other telephones. They're calling this telephone. You see, if people want nothing to do with me, you know what? I can deal with that. But I can't deal with people that are going to be in a terrible disarray, terrible financial problems, even if we want to push it. A lack of food. Well, think about it. Big snowstorms coming. Right? Go to the Stop and Shop. There's nothing left. Why? Big snowstorms coming. No milk, no bread. Why? Big snowstorms coming. Imagine if people have no money. Can't be in their homes. Now, you've got to also think that we once had a Great Depression, okay? That's real. But our ancestors, my mother and father, my grandfather and grandmothers, they knew how to live without. They had no problem living without. Because you know why? Their whole issue was they came here because they had nothing. Now, we don't know how to live without anything. We have to have all the things we have, and we need to go out to lunch 3 times a week. We need, we need to entertain ourselves. We need to do all these things. Like I say, we're the generation. For my generation, the next generation was worse, and the next generation is going to be worse. Like, what would happen if all these things that we are used to stopped? People would be able to deal with it. We heard on the television a lady with Obama, and she said, "I don't have enough money to pay for snacks." Give me a break. Snacks. She had $40, $50 nails done, but she couldn't pay for snacks. Let me just tell you, we never had snacks. We had a good meal. We never had snacks. If we wanted a snack, we'd go in the refrigerator and have a salami sandwich. That was our snack. Once in a while, we bought a 49-cent pound of potato chips from Vincent's. That was our snack. Snack! We never thought about snack. But now we've got to have our snacks. We've got to have our quiet time. We've got to have our computer. We've got to have a... Just think about it. If things crash and we're left without, how will people live? Because you see, the way they live now is it's all about their stuff. Do you hear what I'm saying? You remember what happened with Katrina, don't you? Looting. Craziness. Like, we've been given everything. We've been raised on bonbons. We've had everything. Even the people out in the street. Now, it's a terrible thing that they're out in the street, okay? But they're probably the best cared for people in all the world. Now, they shouldn't be out in the street. I believe that. But they are not abandoned. And if the church was smart, she'd start opening her building and staffing it and bringing these people to Christ, as well as keeping them warm and feeding them. If the church was smart, then she'd be doing the work of the Lord. It's all about lawyers, so I'm not going down that road, but that's what it's about. But even our people out in the street, they're treated well. They have things that other people don't have, for the most part. You know, they get food stamps. They get a check. Now, what they do with it is another story.
Health insurance.
So what do we have? If there's a crash and all this is stopped, there is going to be need for bold people who are lights and who are not afraid and who have courage. They're going to bring people to the Lord. I've already planned it. My church will be open 24 hours a day. We'll have beautiful music. The Blessed Sacrament will be on the altar. I'll be speaking to them and saying, there's nothing to fear because God is here and we're all right. It's going to be all right because that's the way it's going to be, because the Lord is still God and the Lord is for us and He's not against us. And we can go through this and we can go through it together. Now, again, this is like a preparation, and I don't know if this is going to happen. But if it does happen, we have to be ready to get the people on to the lifeboats and not be afraid.